arthritis. Post retire, ma'am is not active in her before in the area of, in the ages of pre-retirement. Ma'am is also very much active, so that ma'am has agreed to be there as an online to facilitate all of us, to educate all of us, to share the knowledge with all of us in our national nutrition program. Post-retirement activities, if we are talking about, ma'am is a visiting faculty of the postgraduate department of food science and nutrition and SNDT Women's University to teach MSc students subject like food processing, preservation and packaging technology, food sciences and chemistry. Guided thesis dissertation of MSc Food Sciences and Nutrition students. Two products developed under the trademark Hypro Milk, namely high protein, ready to use flour and a gluten free flour. Definitely, we just need your more time to know about the development. Presently working with MCGM as an advisor for midday meal program, along with an NGO CACR. Master trainer of FSSAI, Safe and Nutritious Food at School, initiative for school children. Conducted various seminars and dissemination of information about nutrition for COVID-19 during the lockdown period, which is a very shared responsibility with the government of wherever ma'am is. Traditional food in the Indian dietaries, value-added Indian recipes, farm to fork solution with net profan, health in your hand with Podar International School, Eat Right session supported by FSSAI and CACR. MCGM UNICEF empowered of teacher from MCGM to support right nutrition in the children. Trained about more than 2,000 school teachers regarding the nutrition and the dietetics is still, and the list is still on, which certainly we would like to know in the future itself. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being there. And I would like I would like you to, from the bottom of my heart, welcome, ma'am. With this, I just would like to request you to, you can start with your session now.
Okay. Are you able to see me, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So good afternoon to all my dear students and all the teachers of this new university. And I'm very, very happy to join you in the celebration of Nutrition Week, which has commenced from 1st of September. But we have to remember that nutrition is something that starts even before we are born. So we are celebrating it just to remind ourselves what is the importance of nutrition in our lives. And I thank Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya and all the teachers, Dr. Dipali, Dr. Shweta, and Dr. Have I missed out somebody? Anita ma'am. Okay. All of them and maybe more people who have been a big team and have given us this opportunity, and all the selecting this week. So for I'm going to, that's probably very close to your heart. That is traditional Indian food dietaries that are there. Now I'm going to start my presentation. So we will, while we go through the presentation, if you have any queries or any questions that are cropping in your mind, you can always put them down on a piece of paper and I will definitely attend to them at the end of the lecture. Okay, so shall I start sharing my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
All right. It is? Okay. All right. So can we minimize this?
Slideshow. Ma'am, you can directly go to slideshow.
Okay. Yeah.
From beginning. Yes.
Okay. I'll just go to the first. Okay. So today I'm going to talk to you about an aspect of being proud as Indians. This year we are celebrating our 75th Amrut Mahotsav, and our traditional Indian dietaries, for me and for all of us, are a very proud feeling because we have such a variety of Indian dietaries that probably we hardly know anything more than what is there in our areas. Okay. Already I have been introduced profusely by Sunita ma'am. So now, Shweta ma'am, sorry. So you are familiar with my publication, that is Nutrition and Dietetics. The recent edition is the 5th edition. The book is in the market for 30 years, and I owe my gratitude to all the students and all the teachers of nutrition, as well as a lot of number of people who have been using my book and have stood by me. So let's start with the brief background about what are the traditional dietaries and how they were and how much have they been influenced. So if you look at our history, all of us know that we have been human being was a migratory human being, and we would move from place to place. But once the growing of crops started, we started consuming foods which were available. Slowly, the processing also started, and initially we were influenced to a very great extent by what was available. Later on, as the agricultural practices advanced, we got to know the number of crops that we could grow, that we could use for our well-being. And as far as India is concerned, there was a very strong influence of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. So that we can see that basically we are far more vegetarians exist in India as compared to the non-vegetarians. And surprisingly, crops like sesame, that is til, or eggplant, meaning bengan. Okay, so all these plus the cattle, they were all domesticated in the Indus Valley. Today we talk about A2 milk, how it is good for health, etc., etc. But you have to remember one thing, that A2 milk was always there in our dietaries as old as 7,000 BC. Okay, slowly we started also growing the spices, and we are proud that today we have the patent for turmeric. For example, Dr. Mashelkar had to put up a big fight to get the turmeric as our own, as it's our own. Okay, so turmeric, cardamom, black pepper, and mustard, they were harvested around 3000 BC. So we can see that during those times, our diet was a very normal diet. Fruits, vegetables were predominant in our diet. Dairy products, honey, and also meat, because meat was available. There were hunters, and those who could, those whose religion permitted, they would consume meat and meat products. Slowly, our dietaries changed because a lot of influence came into being, and because of which there are a lot of different kinds of varieties of Persian, Arabic, Mughal, all these influences which have come into our meals also, because a lot of invasions happened, and India was very much attractive for all these people who came, and they were influenced not only by the beauty or the diversity or the variety or the richness, but they were also influenced by the varieties of the tastes and the different types of foods that were available in our country. And that is one thing that we have to understand, and we have to realize that our country is the only country in the whole world which has such diverse climates, diverse regions, and diverse varieties of fruits, vegetables that are available to us, and cyclically they are available to us. Okay, but because of invasions, we have been influenced, and I would say that it added to the richness of the tastes that were available to the country. And tomato, chili, potato, these are not our foods which have been grown here since ages. They have come into due to these invasions that came into. Slowly we started using tomato, and today we can't even think of any dish. Many dishes are require the use of tomato, whether in the form of whole or the chopped or the sauces, etc. Okay, so now we have to also realize that at different stages of our life, the human body constitution changes and our needs also change. So if all of you know a little about Ayurveda, you will understand that Ayurveda has been there since ages. Okay. And you can even see the mention of different foods, when they are supposed to be eaten, what is to be eaten, at what time it is to be eaten in our epics. Okay. So if you go through the epics of Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Manusmriti, you will find that during those times there was a very clear cut food belief system. Okay. Certain things to be eaten at certain times only, in certain rutus only. And you will be surprised to know that barley, okay, zav, what we say zav or barley, is also mentioned in the Rig Veda. Okay, so these are the ancient foods that have been part of our traditional dietaries. Now, as far as the moong, masoor, and moong, moong, tur, and urad are concerned, they are also mentioned in our ancient literature, and their use has been advocated, and the way they have to be used, the way they have to be cooked. Okay, all those things are very specifically mentioned in our traditional dietaries. So what is indigenous? Indigenous is that which is produced, growing, living, or occurring natively or naturally in a particular region or environment. Okay, so that means today if we talk about chia seeds are not produced in our country. They do not grow in our country. We have never used chia seeds, so they are new to us. So we cannot consider them as indigenous. Soya bean also came into our country a few years ago. Okay, so it's not like it has been there in our country for hundreds of years, but we have adapted our uses to these foods depending upon what they have to offer as far as nutrition is concerned. And as students of nutrition, you have to look at every food as to what is the best that we can take. Should we put aside this and accept this, or should we give preference to our indigenous materials? Because there is a big repercussion of using indigenous materials on the farmer. Okay, we'll come to that a little later. But as examples, I would like to give you that fried barley cake, which was known as apupa. Okay, or khichdi, which we still today also we relish khichdi, rice and lentils, mixture of rice and lentils. Some make it with vegetables, which we have been consuming, and parched rice and cereals, poha, kurmura. Okay, all these are something that need to be attended to. They are our own. Okay, when I say our own, it means they have been grown here, we have been consuming them, and our physiology has adapted to these kind of foods which have been grown here according to the seasons. Okay, now all of you know a little about Ayurveda, that Ayurveda advocates that in certain seasons you ought to eat certain foods, whereas in certain seasons you must avoid certain foods. Okay, so all the 6 rutus are mentioned over here: Vasant, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Hemant, and Shishir. Okay, and Ayurveda also classifies foods according to the qualities that it gives to the person who consumes them. Okay, so food influences not only our physiology, it also influences a lot of our psychology. Okay, now today we have realized that there are certain foods which we say they are comfort foods. Okay, why we say they are comfort foods? Because we love to have them when we are disturbed, we are under stress. Okay, so they are considered as comfort foods. So Ayurveda has been practiced for ages, and Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic, these 3 varieties types of foods, they influence the psychology of the person. And the person who consumes Sattvic foods, his thoughts are also considered to be more on the reasoning Sattvic side. Okay, whereas those people who are very aggressive, you will find that their diet, their food is consisting more of the foods which give those kind of reactions in the body. For example, meat or liquor or garlic or spicy foods. Okay, so masaledar foods. So as a daily, on a daily basis, what we consume is considered as rajasic. Okay, we do not consume only cooked vegetables, milk, fresh fruits, and honey, but we also consume a good amount quantities of cereals and pulses and legumes and millets. Okay, so all these foods classify as rajasic foods, which give us enough energy to carry out our daily work. Now, this is a map. I don't know if it is clear to all of you. You are able to see the different. Okay, I have tried to put this map over here, so you will not be able to count probably the number of foods that are mentioned on for each state. Okay, but considering that now you are in Madhya Pradesh, right? So if you are in Madhya Pradesh, you can see what are the foods that Madhya Pradesh is associated with. Okay, when we say Madhya Pradesh, उसमें क्या क्या अपने आपको मिलता है, ज्यादा करके क्या आप खाना पसंद करते हैं. It's like lapsi is there, butta is there, butte ka kees is there. Okay, some kebabs are mentioned. Whereas if you come to Maharashtra, you will find that Shrikhand, Thalipit, Vada Pav, Modak, all these things are relished. Okay, so you just looking at this map, I want you to understand that these are just representative foods of each state. If you go to each state and you try to find out, it's a big research topic. If you try to find out, then you'll understand that the number of recipes that are prepared. But these are representative because when we say Maharashtra, Shrikhand, Maharashtra. Okay, ya to Modak, Thalipit. All right. If you go to Andhra Pradesh, then you'll find that a lot of Mughlai influence is there. So Hyderabadi biryani, mirchi ka salan, okay, all these foods you will find over there. You go more towards the north, you'll find foods which are very rich in nuts and oil seeds. Okay, rich in fat, because the temperature, the climate is varying. So if you look at our country, you will find that every variety of the climate is seen in our country, and therefore accordingly the foods are also chosen. Okay, now here I have prepared a table which is again a representative, which shows the variety of foods that you are seen in 5 representative states. Okay, 5 representative states, meaning in the east I have taken West Bengal, in west Maharashtra, in the north Haryana, northeast Manipur, south Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so if you look at these 5 regions, you will find there are some common factors which I also was looking at, that there is a staple, there are varieties of vegetables, there are sweet dishes which are relished, there are snacks which are relished. Okay, each one of them. And when we look at each of them, for example, if you look at Andhra Pradesh, you will find that there is a recipe called Putherikulu. Okay, now this is something that is such a delicacy. I want you to go to the net. I don't know how many of the students here know this particular recipe. Okay, it is such a delicacy, and I myself was surprised that we have such gems, gems of recipes in our dietaries. These are just 5 representative. For example, now if you look at north and northeast, north is represented by Haryana, and the varieties of foods you can see: aloo ka halwa, rabdi, singri ki sabji, pathua ka raita, mithe pude, churma, kheer, kadi pakode. Okay, I'm quite sure your mouth is watering because it is close to lunchtime also. So, but if you look at the northeast, you will find that again these varieties, these are curries that are prepared. Different varieties of curries that are prepared, and in the northeast there are more meat eaters because a lot of pork is available. So they become there are lesser number of vegetarians as compared to non-vegetarians. But if you look at the general dietaries, you'll find that there is a staple, which is mainly rice. Okay, products made from rice. Then there are things like raitas. Okay, there are sweet dishes. There are different varieties of vegetables that are used, and the method of preparing the recipes is also not very elaborative. It is quite simple. Okay, so whether you go east, whether you go west, whether you go north, whether you go south or northeast, you will find that many varieties are prepared, but the basic daily dietary that is composed is of a staple, a vegetable, rice preparation, okay, a raita, some variety of a salad, a dal. So basically, our dietaries are balanced. I would say Indian dietaries to a very great extent are balanced. But then you will ask me how come we talk about balanced dietaries when there are so many sweets that we consume. Well, you have to remember one thing. We are consuming on almost a day occasion. Somebody's body got good mark, this somebody, we do that. But that was not the case earlier. Festivals were designated with certain sweets. Okay. Now here I have put different varieties of foods, methods of serving food. So if you look at any this thali, or whether you look at this leaf on which the banana leaf on which the food has been served, you'll find that the staple is there. There is rice, there is a wheat preparation, there are raitas, there is a pulse preparation, there is a kachumbar, okay, there is a dal or something like a soup, okay. So all these are there, and plus there is always a milk product. So even vegetarians are not who consume milk and milk products also get good varieties of good quality protein. Okay, so indigenous dietaries were based on this. Now these are the things that we love to eat. Okay, these are all the different charts, the savory fried snacks, whether it is batata vada or bhaji or samosa or whatever. Okay, but these are snacks. They have to be consumed as snacks. They do not consist of the main meal. So when we say, is this junk food? If you consume it in limits, okay, then you do not classify it as junk food, because even they have, see, food is not consumed only for getting nourishment. Food is also used as a source of comfort, as a source of satisfaction, as a source of enjoyment, and as a source of sharing love for each other. Okay, why do we share sweets on festivals, during festivals, Diwali or Ramzan, Eid, or any Christmas or such occasions? Because we want to share our happiness. Okay, so everything has to be consumed, but in moderation. So these are some of the desserts that I have not put too many slides of the desserts, but if you try to list it out, I'm quite sure you can list out at least 100 desserts that are there all over our country. Okay, and they are very, very important to us because we consider them as part of our, oh, 1 minute. Okay. Now, when we talk about traditional foods or the traditional dietaries of our country, what is the why are they so important? Okay, and why we should not lose them from our cuisines? Okay, it is very, very important that we do not lose them. These have been prepared for generations, and even today there are some families who have a certain recipe which has come down from generations and which they are still preparing, or there may be even sweet shops who are still preparing this similar kind of food. So traditional foods have been prepared for generations. It is word of mouth that they have been passed down to the next generation. So we have a wide variety of cuisines, and what is important is the traditional wisdom that goes into making that particular recipe, making that, preserving that recipe, okay, is very, very important, because these are what you can say foods that have been used, that have known effects on our body, and the processing, the preservation, and the therapeutic values has been established for generations. It is not that it has just come 10 years, 15 years, or even 50 years ago. It has been since generations. Okay, so when we say use til oil, we say til oil to be used only during winter. Okay, or in areas of our country where you'll find that the overall temperatures are always very, very cold. Therefore, the til oil is used over there. Okay, sarson ka tel, that is used, mustard oil. It's considered very hot. I cannot use mustard oil in Mumbai because the temperature of Mumbai does not support my use of mustard oil. It has a lot of erucic acid. All right. So this is something that has been tried and tested and established. It is not something that you have to question, but you have to understand. Okay. So nutritional importance of our traditional foods, we have to be proud about, and we have to recognize that they are important to us and they have to be popularized. Okay. We should not be shunning them in a corner and saying, no, 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 I'm going to popularize pizzas, I'm going to popularize burgers. They are also part and parcel of our food, but they are not our traditional food. Okay. So socially, culturally, economically, traditional dietaries are important, and very important, most important, they also ensure that food security is established. Okay. So this is tremendously important in combating malnutrition. Today, you find malnutrition because the traditional dietaries of those people have been kept aside, and something new has been given to them for which they do not have a taste or a liking for. Okay, so malnutrition can be combated also because it ensures, you can ensure food security with the help of traditional dietaries. And it is essential that this indigenous culture that we must not lose sight of, because it is really very important, and we have to be proud that we have such indigenous dietaries. So indigenous dietaries contribute a lot to nutrition. Idli, dosa, all these are different varieties of fermented foods. We sprout legumes and we prepare usal out of it. Now all these are what we talk about: prebiotic, probiotic, symbiotic. All this was already there. Okay, already it was understood, and therefore they were part and parcel of our traditional dietaries. Okay, maybe we did not understand that they knew about it. So there were certain things that were imposed in terms of festivals, in terms of rutu. Okay, but it was always known that why we should consume curds every day, because curds contains live organisms and it has the ability to keep our gut health healthy. Okay, now today we go and buy the foods that are made with live organisms so that our gut health stays good, but it is already there. You prepare curds at home with live organism and you will get the same benefit. Okay, so these benefits were known. So idli, dosa, ambil is a variety of a recipe that is made with the help of ragi. Okay, it is in areas of Goa and Konkan regions, there is a process of fermentation that is given to it, but in some areas the fermentation is not carried out, but basically it is made from ragi, which is considered as a very wonderful millet. Okay, and main advantage is that any of the leavening processes, any of the fermentation processes will push down the anti-nutritional factors, improve the digestibility, and also enhance the vitamins that are present over there, particularly vitamin B12 and B6. Okay, so when we talk about idli, dosa, ambil, the advantages are tremendous. Okay, they also enhance the biological value. You talk about vegetarians face this problem of how to improve the biological value. So enhancing the biological value is not difficult. You just combine two varieties of plant proteins, or you combine a plant protein with an animal protein, and you get very good biological value protein. That is important. And all of you must be knowing that more than the quantity of a protein in a food, it is important that the quality of the protein should be good. Okay, so all the essential amino acids should be present so that the quality of the protein of that food is good. And for vegetarians, this is very important. For non-vegetarians, it is not difficult to achieve good quality protein, because most of the animal sources are good quality proteins. This practice that I came across, I've been talking about this practice, and today you will find that if you just give a search on this variety of rice that is used, panta bhat or poita bhat or pokhalo in Orissa, there every state, I'm quite sure, if you look at other states also, you will find that there is a similar kind of a recipe that is prepared, and it is such a simple recipe. It used to be mainly a farmer's food. Whatever is the leftover rice is just kept in a clay pot with a little more quantity of water, allowed to stand overnight. The next morning it has fermented. Okay, because naturally there will be organisms which are there which will ferment the rice along with the water, and it is not heated, it is consumed as such along with a little amount of vegetable that is also maybe left over, or some fish that is left over, or a pickle that you can have. Okay, and they have found that this has tremendous effects, cooling effects on the body. This type of rice that is consumed, it also has generated so many varieties of organisms that are beneficial to the gut, that the gut health stays stable. Okay, the basically lactic acid bacteria are have been isolated, and today it has become a research area. People have taken up this Poita Bhat as a research area to find out really how far can it help people who have problems of the gut. And one thing that we have also to acknowledge Ayurveda for is that Ayurveda says that whatever is health, good health, it begins in the stomach. So if any health problem originates, it originates in your gut. So keeping your gut safe and healthy is very important. Okay, so this is just one example of a traditional fermented rice that has been used. Now, milk-based, a lot of foods are traditionally milk-based. Again, probiotic. Okay, we talk about dahi, which has live culture, and we have so many varieties of products that are made from milk. So sandesh hai, kharwas hai, rabdi hai, rasgulla, paneer. You go to the different states, and you will find that you go to West Bengal, you will find rasgulla over there, which is made from milk. You will find chana, paneer. North Indians are very fond of consuming paneer. One of the best forms of milk of a product which has high protein and also good amount of live culture. Okay, again the benefits we have to look at. So these are the things that have been traditionally there. Okay, so milk and its products are there, different milk products. What is important is that because milk is costly, it becomes little difficult for people who cannot afford the cost, and therefore they cannot include it in their dietaries. But the milk products are included to a certain extent in our dietaries. Millets, cereals and pulses. I think you are aware of the cereals, particularly rice and wheat. But you have to understand that millets were used much more in our dietaries than the cereals, because they have tremendous advantages. You can use them in the form of flour, or you can puff them, you can make flour out of the puffed grain, and they are far better in terms of nutrition than the cereals. So millets are rich in fiber, they are better in quality of the protein, they are gluten free, so we don't have to worry about anything, any problem with the gluten in the for people who have gluten issues. Okay, and the cost is also low. So we have to not look at millets as a source of food for poor people, but
Sanjula, mute your mic.
okay. Girls, if you have any questions, you just jot them down. Okay, any doubts, you can always jot them down, and we can always talk about them a little later. All right. Now, pulses and legumes. I don't know of any other country which has a list of pulses and legumes that can be consumed, that have been consumed since ages. Okay. But basically, we are fond of mainly 4 types of pulses and legumes that is tuar, that is arhar dal, masoor dal, moong dal, and urad dal, either as whole or as the dal. And these are rich in protein. They are, if in combination with rice or wheat, they bring out the quality of the protein far more. Biological value becomes much higher. Okay, so the varieties of recipes that are made using a combination of cereals, pulses, millets, legumes, etc. You go to different states, your own state will have its own variety of recipes that are a combination of cereals, millets, and pulses. Okay, we don't stop at only consuming them in the form of staple. We also make accompaniments like papads. Okay, so if you look at papads, you'll find that almost every kind of pulse has been used, every kind of cereal has been used. So you get papads made with rice, you made papads made with sabudana, you get papads made with poha. Okay, so all these varieties that you get, these are accompaniments. These are consumed in small amounts. But when you talk about balanced diet, you'll find that in a balanced diet, you require to have a variety. The more the variety, the better is the quality of the diet. Okay. Now, misal pav, I think misal pav, all of you must be knowing misal pav. It is very interesting thing made, snack made with sprouted varieties of whatever sprouts you can use, and you can make it into a misal, like a usal, add some farsan into it, and then consume it along with a cereal. It becomes a complete meal. So you can consume it along with pav. So normally misal pav is what is the most famous dish in any of the, and it's a complete meal. Okay, so if you look at nuts and oil seeds, they are required in our dietaries, but they are not required in huge quantities. They are required in small quantities. So you'll find that there are certain vegetable preparations that are made using nuts and oil seeds. Okay, certain oil seeds are used in certain seasons. For example, sesame is used in the season of Sankrant, where there is a very cold weather, and the quantity of the oil and the protein that is there in the sesame is very important at that point of time. So small varieties of snacks are made out of it. Small varieties of sweets are made out of it, which can be consumed, which have a good stable shelf life and can be consumed. So gajak is very famous in Madhya Pradesh. So til chikkis are also made in almost every state. You will find that til is used during the winter season. Okay, and along with til, mostly if jaggery is used, it is considered good because it also gives warmth. Okay, plus it also is rich in iron. So all of you know that. And generally jaggery is the base more than sugar. And chutneys, which are again accompaniments, small quantities of chutneys are always there in our household, whether made from coconut, whether made from garlic, whether made from til, groundnut, alshi. Now today, flaxseed or alshi has gained tremendous importance, more because of the omega fatty acids that are present in it. So earlier also, before we talked about omega fatty acids, our ancient people, our forefathers, they knew about their benefits, but the benefit should be in small quantities, and therefore it is not consumed in large quantities, but as an accompaniment in the form of a chutney, or it may be sprinkled, roasted, and made into a mouth freshener. Okay, so these are some things which are very important. Now, arib, that is available in our country, is an oil seed which has lactogog properties, and since ancient times they knew about it. So every mother who delivered a child, for her, laddu or kheer made from arib was also part of her diet, because it was known as a very good lactogog. Okay, so spices, all of you must be knowing that our country was invaded basically in the for the lust of spices. Black pepper was very much sought after by the people who invaded from Kerala, from at Cochin. Okay, so you'll find that invasions were basically because of the spices. And in our country, there are areas where huge quantities of spices are grown even today. Certain areas are conducive to growing only certain types of spices. For example, you will not find saffron everywhere. You will find it only in the north areas of Jammu and Kashmir, more in Kashmir. So these are all the varieties. These are, I have listed out only a few spices. You can add another 15, 20 easily. Okay, and masalas is what is our Indian food is famous for. Okay, all the foreigners will are worried about the spiciness of Indian food, because Indian foods are made with masalas. Okay, so now today we talk about functional foods, and huge billions and billions of rupees and dollars are being earned in the form of nutraceuticals. Turmeric, from which curcumin is derived. Okay, so it has been recognized as an antiseptic and as immunity giver since ancient times. Okay, but today the importance that it has gained, and during COVID times, you must have realized that turmeric was much talked about. Haldi ka doodh piyo, because it gives you immunity. It's very good for keeping you away from COVID, etc. Okay, so these are traditional things which are ancient. I would say. Okay, now this is one category which we really can't ignore, because all of us are fond of batata vada. We are all fond of using onions and sweet potatoes and tapioca, or different types of varieties of wafers we love. Okay, and today if you go to hotels, you'll find that beet is in a very fashionable name is given to that dish, but it is basically made from beet. Okay, so whether it is carrot, whether it is beet, whether it is radish, these are the roots and tubers that must be included in our dietary, and they have been there as part of our dietaries, whether you eat them in the raw form, or you cook them and you consume them, or you make them into some recipe which is popular with the family, is very important. But remember that these are colocasia, for example, colocasia or arvi is used, the leaves are used, the root is used. Okay, so we find that there is a mention of all these things in our ancient scriptures, in our epics. Okay, they are very much mentioned. Now, if you look at what is the impact of you consuming traditional dietaries, why we should stick to our traditional dietaries, is because it has a tremendous impact on what the farmer will grow. Okay, today you'll find that the consumption of millets is now increasing, because now it has become a fashion to consume millets. But at one point of time, millets was considered only as a poor man's crop. So the farmer would not grow it to such an extent. So the impact that is there, the more we consume our own foods, you'll find that the more the farmer will be growing it. And why it is important is because the soil, the water conditions, the climatic conditions, everything is suited for that particular crop. And otherwise, growing cash crops is not difficult. It will give a lot of money, but you cannot sustain on money. You require good food, isn't it? You need food which can be grown in the soil for which it is meant. Okay, so all cash crops are not food. There are some cash crops which are food, but then you'll find that they are not the staple food. Millets are our staple. cereals, rice, wheat are our staple. Okay, so these are the things that we have to stick to and not look at them or berate them. These are the different accompaniments that I already talked about. Okay, whether it is in the form of pickles, you'll find a lot of fruits and vegetables are pickled. You go to Gujarat and I think everything that you find as a fresh fruit or vegetable can be pickled. Okay, they'll find ways and means of pickling of every vegetable or a fruit. Same conditions are prevalent in every state. Something or some or the other way of pickling the fruit, thereby preserving it for a longer time. What is very important is why preservation is important is because it prevents wastage. When the crop is in glut, you are able to preserve the food which can be consumed during the lean period. Okay, that is why it is important that preservation is very, very important. Today, preservation has become very important because of that. Okay, so we can consume mango pulp in the month of December, but no mangoes are able to give you pulp in the month of December or January, but you have preserved them. Okay, so preservation is important, and consuming foods which are in small quantities known as accompaniments is also important because they add variety, they give you micronutrients which you may not be aware of. Okay, so these are some of the common aspects. As I told you, and when I showed you the map, I spoke about these, that if you look at the 28 states of our country, you'll find that there are common aspects of all the cuisines. There is a staple food, there is a dark green leafy vegetable preparation, there is a pulse or a legume preparation, there is a savory dish. Okay, side accompaniments are there, pickles, papads, raitas, etc. There is a rice preparation or plain rice, a salad is there, and of course there has to be a sweet dish. Okay, so this is part and parcel of our traditional dietary. Of course, every day we do not consume a sweet dish. Every day we may not consume all the accompaniment that I have mentioned over here, but they are part and parcel of our traditional dietaries, and each one of them has a function other than giving you a variety. Okay, so lentils, pulses, legumes, dark green leaf vegetables, staple food may vary according to the region. Okay, in the north, more of the maca is used, so corn is consumed more, wheat is consumed more. In the south or the coastal regions, you will find that rice is consumed more. Okay, in the central regions of our country, you'll find that millets are more. So every region has its own specialty because of the traditional food that has been grown by the farmer. Okay. Now, so to summarize, you'll find that our traditional dietaries, I would say there are certain drawbacks which we'll see in the last statement, but the wholesomeness of our dietaries is what you have to understand. Okay, you can adapt the diet depending upon what is the type of work you are. So labor is going to require is more rich in carbohydrates, more rich in protein. Okay, because he is a manual worker. Whereas a who's working at the computer and who's doing work from home, or he's able work, he will require the same type of dietary can be very easily adapted. Okay, whether it is a sedentary worker, a moderate worker, or a heavy worker. But today you find that today our lifestyle has become much more sedentary, and seasonal variations are to be taken into consideration because our body reacts differently to different foods in different seasons. Okay, so there are many people who keep fast in Chaturmas. Okay, the 4 months of dietary restrictions are there where certain foods are avoided because they cause problems of the health. Okay, and our sweets, the sweets that we are used to, that we make, are festival oriented. So in Holi, we consume Puran Poli. In Makar Sankranti, it is Tilgul. Okay. Whereas Diwali is a season for having savory and sweet items because the season is so good. Okay. It's a winter season. So जो खा सकते हो आराम से हजम हो जाता है. Okay. So what you cannot eat in summer, you can eat in winter, but and vice versa. So that is very important that our traditional dietaries were based on all these considerations, thereby giving you good health. Okay. And good health, you all of you know what is good health. So not only physical or mental health, okay, psychologically also we have to be in good condition all year round. And but what are the drawbacks of our traditional dietaries? We use more ghee, more oil, more sugar, and more jaggery, more sweeteners and more fats than what we really require. Okay, our body requires a certain quantity, but if you consume too much of the fried foods, too much of the farsan type of foods, you will find that a lot of oil is consumed. Then there are certain communities who believe in doing preparing all foods in ghee, pure ghee. Okay, not vanaspati, but pure ghee, that is the animal fat. Okay, now remember one thing, that if somebody tells you that cholesterol is good or cholesterol is bad, or ghee makes your cholesterol go high or low, you have to judge for yourself based on the research. Okay, you should not go by what somebody says or some magazine has published. You have to verify the facts as a scientific background. You have to verify whether what they are saying is true or not. But all of us know that these all four foods, ghee, oil, sugar, and jaggery, give us a lot of calories. Okay, and today's lifestyle is such that our calorie consumption has to be very, very uh, limited. Okay, here this is just some interesting observation which I would like to put up. Is when did the problem health our health problems really start? When certain inventions came into being. Okay, now inventions are not necessarily bad, but how much you use them is what is important. Okay, so like cooking in a open pot stopped when once the pressure cooker came, which was a good invention for us because the nutritive value of the food went up. Okay, so it became more easy to cook even hard pulses or hard legumes. Okay, like chana, for example, will cook easily in our pressure cooker. Plus, because it is a covered vessel and cooked under pressure, you retain the nutrients. So it is a very good invention that each one of us must really acknowledge. Okay, but then we always feel that there are certain things which came into being because they reduce the time of cooking or reduce the time of pre-preparation. They were actually good physical exercises. Okay, for example, what was used as a ragda, for grinding the idli or the dosa batter, or the pata and the varvanta, that was used. All this was something that gave physical exercise use this implement or these equipment because we do not have the time for it. Okay, but there have been adaptations. You must have seen the adaptation of uh, some of the hotels, where they have ragda only, but which works on electricity. Okay, so refrigerators, all these came in the 60s, and the latest inventions that have come in and which we are now addicted to, that is the computer and the mobile. Okay, that has reduced our activities to such an extent that the physical activity has to be purposeful, and that is why gyms have flourished. Okay, because we have stopped walking to a great extent because we have two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. We have stopped walking to a very great extent. We have started using mobile and computer for our benefit, no doubt, but the amount of time that you spend on these is also to be taken into consideration. Plus, because of the lack of time, food industry has come up with a number of inventions for dehydrated foods, dehydrated vegetables, dried fruits, instant ready to serve, ready to eat foods, okay, and frozen foods which we can stock. So we need not go to the market every day. So all this has reduced the drudgery, okay, of our day-to-day life, but because of which physical activity to a very great extent has reduced. So we have to remember that we have to always balance, that any invention that we are using must be balanced, and our lifestyle must be such that it gives us good health. Okay, so traditional dietaries are very important. and I'm thankful that you listened to me for such a long time. And being our 75th year, I'm very happy to say that I'm an Indian. I'm an Indian citizen, and I'm proud of my traditional dietaries, and I will see to it that I promote my circle of friends, acquaintances, and whoever I can influence. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am.
Did I take more time than required?
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am. Questions. Yes, Suhani. Suhani, you are not audible. Suhani, you are not audible.
There are some questions in the question and answer.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there is some questions. Ma'am, very informative and knowledgeable session.
You.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am. Ma'am, questions are continuously coming. How has the land changed? Ma'am, is sugar the biggest problem in our life? Ma'am, is sugar is the biggest problem in our life? Ma'am, question is coming. Sugar, related sugar. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Be a little louder.
Ma'am, I
Can't hear
take the
you.
questions. Ma'am,
Yeah.
I take the questions.
Yes,
Ma'am,
please.
is sugar is the biggest problem in our life?
No. No, nothing can be a bigger problem in our life. What is important is moderation. You have always to remember that there is a thing called always a via media. Okay, so sugar is necessary. Sugar is not the biggest problem. Okay, but moderation. When you are saying I want to have tea.
अब इसी सर के सामने ही बैठा था मैं.
Yes, sir. थोड़ा late start हुआ तो question answer चल रहा है मैम का. Sir, within 5 minutes we start our valedictory.
Madam, I was there as a not as a panelist. I was listening the complete lecture, but the different.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Platform.
Yes, sir.
Just
Thank
now
you,
I have
sir.
joined. Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Dr. Uttam Sharma.
Hello, Dr. Uttam Sharma.
Good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I was listening your lecture, but I was not as a panelist. I have
Okay.
joined through other link.
Okay.
Sir, might be.
So you, Dipali, madam, you go ahead with the validation session.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, madam, for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so Deepali, have I answered your question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So you can take the
another
next one.
question. Nasir Rani, please, do you think use IoT smart chips in our food packages to improve the change in eating patterns in the future?
What chips?
IoT smart chips in our food packaging.
I really can't answer this question because I'm not aware of what she's talking about.
Actually, she is talking about tracing and traceabilities. जैसे कि मार्केट में कहीं पे गया है उस पे हमारी IoT चिप स्मार्ट चिप्स लगा दी है कि कहाँ है या फिर उसकी पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट की शेल्फ लाइफ क्या है तो ईटिंग पैटर्न्स में चेंज लाएगी यस नसीर बिल्कुल लाएगी
I think that technology is for knowing from where to recall the product if it is required to recall the product. That technology will not tell you who is consuming the product and how much the product has been consumed. I do not think so, but I'm not really very sure. I don't think I can answer that question.
No, ma'am, no issue. Ma'am, explain about traditional foods. Some traditional foods. Example, ma'am.
Traditional, for example, thali pith hai. Traditionally, it is traditionally made in Maharashtra. Okay, and it is a mixture of different flours, along with which you can add different varieties of vegetables, or if you do not have vegetables, it may be just with garlic and onion and maybe a little coconut if you can add. Okay, so traditionally it has been made in Maharashtra, and it is a very good it is considered as a very good snack, as a healthy snack, as a healthy breakfast food also.
Yes.
Okay, so that which has been made using the traditional cereals, pulses, legumes, and different commodities of the state. Okay, and has been consumed for ages together, is a traditional food.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, someone is asking traditional foods are good, but they do not meet the dietary allowances.
It's not possible. When you are, if you are a dietitian and you are planning a diet, okay, as I showed you the pictures of so many varieties of foods that are served. So if you look at, just let's take a plain Maharashtrian thali, okay. If you take a Maharashtrian thali, you will find that either chapati or bhakri is there. There is rice.
Yes, ma'am.
There is a vegetable, which is generally a leafy vegetable. Okay, there will be a dry vegetable preparation. Say it may be bengan or bhindi. Okay, then there is a kachumbar or a raita, optional. Either it may be a kachumbar or it may be a raita. Okay, then there will be curds or buttermilk. There will be dal preparation, or there will be a usad. Usad yani it's a mixture of sprouted legumes. Okay, so if you look at this thali, if you are getting at least 60 to 70% of your carbs are being fulfilled by the staples, and a combination of dal and the pulses and the curds or the buttermilk that is there is fulfilling your protein requirement. So what you have to understand is that, as a thumb rule, this is what I was taught when I was a student, that as a thumb rule, if your proximate constituents are fulfilled, okay, carbohydrates,
Yes,
fats, proteins are the proximate constituents. If they are fulfilled, your micronutrients are definitely fulfilled. You do not have to worry about it.
Okay. Ma'am, Dr. Pankaj Shukla, ma'am, please. Ma'am.
नमस्ते
Namaste, ma'am. Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste, Dr. Shukla.
जी सर, मैडम, मैं आपकी ही बुक से पढ़ाती हूँ, आपको बहुत लाइक करती हूँ, और हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को भी मैं हमेशा प्रमोट करती हूँ कि आपकी बुक्स पढ़ें वो।
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच। और आप जैसे जो लोग हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, स्टाफ है, ले पर्सन्स भी है, बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स और पैरामेडिकल लोग भी हैं जो यूज करते हैं, मुझे फीडबैक देते हैं, उनकी वजह से ही मैं 30 साल से किताब लिख रही हूँ। तो 92 में मेरी फर्स्ट एडिशन आई और अभी 2022 में मेरी 5th एडिशन आई। तो इसी का कारण है, आप जैसे जो लोग हैं जो मुझे एनकरेज करते हैं, उनकी वजह से ही मैं आगे बढ़ती हूँ।
मैडम, मैंने गोपाल काला के ऊपर एक आर्टिकल लिखा है, हर एक इंग्रेडिएंट का न्यूट्रिएंट्स के बारे में लिखा है, और गोपाल काला भी बहुत न्यूट्रिशियस फूड है। जो हम लोग अपने किसी भी कीर्तन प्रवचन के बाद जो गोपाल काला बनाते हैं हर एक के ऊपर मैंने लिखा है। यदि आपका मेरे को कभी ईमेल आईडी मिला तो मैं आपको जरूर भेजूंगी गोपाल काला के ऊपर का।
मैं आपको
मैम, आई विल शेयर यू द नंबर ऑफ शुभांगी मैम एंड ईमेल आईडी।
व्हाट्सएप
आई शेयर यू। यस मैम, पंकजा मैम, मैं आपको सब करूंगी।
जरूर आप भेजिए आपका आर्टिकल, मैं बहुत आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू रीड इट। And yes, Ayurveda talks about Gopal Kala. My sister-in-law, with whom I am there right now today, I'm in Nasik with her. So she's an Ayurvedic doctor, and she herself has written an article on Gopal Kala. तो उन्होंने भी वही बात लिखी है जो आप कह रहे हैं कि गोपाल काला एक कंप्लीट फूड कैसे है।
ठीक है,
ओके दीपाली, आई थिंक probably everybody is waiting for the valedictory. Are there any more questions?
मैम, क्वेश्चंस आर कंटिन्यूअसली कमिंग ऑन मैम। मैम, शुभांगी मैम से सब बात करना चाहते हैं।
तो फटाफट पूछती जा।
यस मैम, यस मैम। हाउ टू स्टैंडर्डाइज अवर डेली डाइट टू अवॉइड ओबेसिटी, स्पेशली फॉर मेंटल स्ट्रेस?
For
daily diet to avoid obesity?
Obesity, if you are a nutrition student, you know what is to be avoided to avoid obesity. First of all, improve your lifestyle. Eat well, sleep on time. Don't use the mobile too much. And consume a balanced diet. So reduce on calories. Calories coming which are coming from things like carbonated beverages, candies, cakes, chocolates. Okay. Excessive oily foods. ये सब avoid करो तो calories कम हो जाएंगे automatically. And so eat healthy, sleep well, and exercise.
Yes. Key most important. Yes, ma'am. Shweta ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. There is a question from the K Nagarajan. What are the measures? What are the measures to revive? Sorry. There's a question from K Nagarajan. What are the measures to revive the backyard kitchen garden and poultry to ensure self-sufficiency in nutrition?
Yeah, I would like Dr. Nagarajan to take a look at what is known as microgreens. Okay, you people probably are lucky that you have a backyard. Okay, those who are living in cities do not have a backyard. But if you have a backyard, I would suggest that the trees that you must always plant is first is the drumstick. Because both these are, which give the fruits, the leaves, everything you can consume, and it gives tremendous nourishment. Okay, so these two can be grown in your backyard to give you good nutrition. And if you can grow microgreens, which is the in thing to do nowadays, you can grow them in a small window sill also, and they give you very good. It doesn't take a lot of area, and it grows very fast, and you can consume it every day to what you can say, add to your diet, which will give you all the micronutrients that you require. See, today we are getting a lot of foods which are grown with lot of use of fertilizers and chemical substances, because of which they are devoid of a lot of micronutrients. But the microgreens that you can grow in your own window, okay, your own window, you can grow them, and the microgreens will give you very good nourishment. So I would suggest Dr. Nagarajan to do a little research on microgreens, and he'll find that a lot of information is available and can be implemented. It is something that is doable.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, there is one generalized question related to the pregnancy. There are few food restrictions during the pregnancy. There's a one direct question asked by one of the students that why brinjal and eggplant is avoided during pregnancy. And similarly, numbers of foods are restricted during pregnancy. Yeah.
What is avoided? Eggplant. Means Bengal?
Yes, ma'am. It is. Ma'am, the student has mentioned the eggplant, but we do have heard of papaya also.
Papaya, yes. Papaya, I would say papaya has green papaya. The raw papaya has a protein destroying or protein digesting substance. Okay, papain, and it is for this reason that it is used by many people who want to cook meat soft. Okay, so raw papaya must be avoided. About bangan, I don't know why bangan is avoided. There is apparently no reason, and I'm rather hearing it for the first time. Probably it may be because of it. Many of the eggplant varieties, the bangan varieties, they contain a lot of seeds. Okay, so there are certain type of stones that are formed because of seeds. So we try to avoid, say, even tomatoes also for that matter also have a lot of seeds. Okay, so bangan, maybe because of that it may be avoided. Otherwise, there is no such reason why it should not be consumed during pregnancy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There are similar more questions, and there is also a compliment. You might be getting numbers of times, and you still will get the number of time. This is from Noor Al Ain. Thank you so much, Shubhangini ma'am. Your book was included in our syllabus. She's from Telangana, and really thankful to you, ma'am.
Okay, I'm so happy. I tell you one thing, that why I'm doing this, why I did this is because I was proud that I was an Indian, and I, as a student, I wasn't able to access many books which were based on our Indian dietaries or Indian foods. Most of the books which we as students used in the 70s were based on American foods. A lot of steak and meat and fish and chicken and all those things, pork, etc., which India does not, we are vegetarians predominantly. So I used to wonder why there are no good books, and that is the reason why I wrote. And I find that a lot of students and staff and teaching staff and other lay persons are also very appreciative of that. So we have to be proud that we are Indian, and we have to we are really proud that we have such vast varieties of food that are available to us, that nothing should surprise us which comes from outside, should surprise us. Okay, so thank you very much, Noor. God bless you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, now I would like to invite Suhani to proceed in the program.
Okay.
I request the panelists to ask the questions. Anyone? I request the panelists to ask the questions. Anyone?
No.
On the behalf of the Institute, I would like to thank you for your presence and precious time. Now we will take a 5 minutes pause. After the we will move to valedictory program. Thank you.
Please
Thank you
be
very
on
much.
the link. Ma'am, please be on the link, ma'am.
Yes.
Please, all the participants and speakers, please be on the link. We start our valedictory program, which includes a feedback of our speakers, participants, and a general small short report, which is only of 20 minutes. And then we post our feedback link for certificates too. So be on link. We start in 5 minutes our valedictory program of National Nutrition Week 2020-22. So
Okay,
I
thank you.
request all the participants and the speakers, guest attendees, please be on the link. Yes. Now we start our valedictory program. Yes, Ananya.
Ma'am, can you just let us know whether Ananya is audible or not?
Yes, Ananya. Ananya is not visible. Yes, Ananya. You can check your mic, Ananya.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Now start the program.
A very good afternoon to all of you present here. I am Ananya Sahu of BSc 3rd SEM Food and Nutrition. I will like to commence the valedictory session of our event. I feel extremely privileged and happy to invite all the speakers who are with us in the whole event. Shubhangini Joshi ma'am, our coordinator Uttam Sharma sir of SVV, Dipali ma'am and Shweta Keshwani ma'am, and all the panelists and participants. As we all know that health and nutrition is our first priority, within this whole event, we also learn the importance of nutrition as well as proper diet. Nutrition is not just about eating, it is about eating in a proper way. Now I would like to invite Dr. Dipali Saxena ma'am, Assistant Professor in Food and Nutrition Department, to present the National Nutrition Week report. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ananya. Ananya, can you share my PPT? Yes. Let's go on slideshow. Yes. Good afternoon, all of you present here. I, Dr. Dipali Saxena, convener of National Nutrition Week 2022 and Assistant Professor of Home Science. Welcome you all in the valedictory program of National Nutrition Week 2022. Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science, Department of Food and Nutrition organized 7 days National Nutrition Week celebrations 2020-22, a lecture series from 1 September to 7 on virtual platform. The National Nutrition Week is celebrated for making the people to know about the proper health by eating proper nutrition foods and know the importance of nutrition. The inaugural program was graced by the eminent speaker of the lecture series, Dr. Pushpa Vasti from UNICEF, Dr. Sanu Jakab from Food Safety Standards Authority of India, Dr. Preeti Shukla, registered dietitian, NutriNet's Health Consultancy, Dr. Shinuma Venugopal, Family and Community Sciences, the Maharaja Sayaji University of Baroda, Vadodara, Dr. Subha Rao from ICMA National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad, Dr. Munira Hussain, Professor, Department of Food and Nutrition, Mata Jijabai, Government PG College, Indore, Mrs. Sumhangini Joshi, author, ex-principal, SNDT University, Professor Upinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Santosh Dhar, Dean, Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Uttam Sharma, Coordinator of Shri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science and the Chairperson of the event, Dr. Vinod Dhar, Coordinator of Shri Vaishnav Institute of Agriculture, and Dr. Shweta Keswani, co-convener of the event, Assistant Professor, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science, and guest attendees with 190 plus participants on Zoom. The inaugural program was moderated by me itself, as the program started by virtually lighting of lamp of knowledge and wisdom by Saraswati ji, followed by the welcome address by Dhar ma'am. Dr. Santosh Dhar ma'am delivered the welcome address. She threw light on the history and background of National Nutrition Week. Later on, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir of Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya proposed welcome address and highlights the statistics of hunger people in the world with respect to India. He also told us about the 13 Sustainable Development Goals. The first lecture of the first day of National Nutrition Week was followed by the inaugural program on 1st September 11:30. The first lecture was delivered by Dr. Pushpa Avasti, Nutrition Officer from UNICEF India on first 1000 days with focus on complementary feeding. She explained the importance of first 1000 days of baby development and growth. She also emphasized on improving nutrition during that days, as these days are critical to enable the children to reach their full development potential and secure a brighter future. The second lecture was followed on the same day by Dr. Sanu Jakab, Director of Food Safety Standards Authority of India, Southern Region, India. He further explained the organization's working standards act of FSSAI. After it, I also explained the fortification and fortified foods. He emphasized on eat right campaign with eat less sugar, less fat, and less salt. And also suggest us to follow the eat right in SVV campus. On day 2, on 3rd September, National Nutrition Week, the first lecture was delivered by Dr. Preeti Shukla, registered dietitian, director of Nutrient Health Needs Health Consultancy on metabolic disorders and its management. She discussed on different metabolic disorders like obesity, diabetes, PCOS. She gave light on obesity and recommended dietary patterns and physical activity to follow up. The second lecture on the same day was by Dr. Shonira Venugopal ma'am from Maharaja Saraji University of Baroda. She discussed one of the most common severe topic, dietary management of hypertension, and guide us about the health and the needs for the hour. Now, on the third day, 5th September, of the lecture delivered by Dr. Subha Rao sir, scientist, National Institute of Nutrition, on topic nutrition, communication, conversion. He talked about educated the unprivileged community about nutrition being followed, management, practicing of health communication in every corner of the nation. Now, next day on 6th September, National Nutrition Week celebrations, the speaker was Dr. Munira Hussain ma'am, Professor, Department of Food and Nutrition, Mata Jijabai Government PG College, Indore, delivered the sixth lecture of the session as acknowledged the different types of phytochemicals and recommended everyone to follow the colorful thali daily. After completion of her session, ma'am acknowledged every participant that this year we celebrated the Independence Day as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. By Har Ghar Tiranga, she highlighted to be a Har Ghar Tirangi Thali to every citizen to be a happy and healthier life. The last day of National Nutrition Week celebrations of, delivered by Mrs. Shubhangini Joshi ma'am, author, ex-principal, SNDT University, Mumbai. Ma'am highlights the importance of indigenous foods and also the comfort food. She also explains how Ayurvedic diet influences our Indian diet. Further, ma'am threw light the some traditional foods of 5 states of India with its importance. As all the lectures of National Nutrition Week is very informative and knowledgeable. I think all participants, guest attendees now onwards focus their food choices and eat smartly. Thank you. Over to you, Ananya.
Thank you, ma'am. With your permission, I request to the respected participant to share their opinion about the empowering session of acknowledgement which is held by Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya. Ma'am.
Feedback by the participants.
Yes.
Yes. We can't take the.
Yeah, ma'am.
Just a minute, ma'am. We can't take the feedback of all the participants. You can post in a chat box or question answer your opinion regarding this event, or for some of the feedback we are taking. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, please.
Very good afternoon to one and all. I'm eagerly waiting for this session. And first of all, it's a great honor for me to meet Shubhangini ma'am today. And ma'am, being a faculty of home science, we do have your textbook for both UG program as well as PG program. UG, we have clinical nutrition and dietetics. And by the way, I would like to introduce myself. I am Dr. Alamenu Mangai, Associate Professor from PG and Research Department of Home Science, Bharathasan Government College for Women, Puducherry. And I have been working here for past 30 years, and I am alumni of Avinash Lingam University, Coimbatore. Wholeheartedly, I have to congratulate the team, Dr. Deepali, Dr. Shweta, Aditi, for the wonderful conduct of the event, because I'm of course nationally connected with all the nutritionists, but your institute, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Home Science, is pioneer in convening the National Nutrition Month. I have to say that I can understand how much effort that you have been taking, because getting the eminent speakers is not an easy job, and fitting them to our time is almost difficult, being an academician, and suiting their availability and conducting it for the welfare of the student and the new faculty members, or even for our kind, is really the best job that you have done. and I can understand your keen interest and effort in doing this. I have been associated with your institute for past 2 years because Deepali, you have been conducting World Food Day, National Nutrition Month on a virtual mode, and it was easy
Thank you,
for us to
ma'am.
get connected. Okay, I can see the sincere effort because though it is an online, it needs so much of time that has to be spent for planning, conducting, organizing. Everything was meticulously done. Not only these events, this month event or this week event, even the further the earlier event that you had conducted was meticulously planned and organized. So that's why that only keeping myself getting connected, though we are aware of all the topics, but since even then I want to attend, I want to keep my knowledge updated. I want to see you young ladies doing the better job. And one more thing I would like to add is always there is an involvement of student mass. The community, the student community is very vast, and I appreciate you for making this happen. No doubt, Sri Vaishnav Institute is bringing attention and creating public awareness on importance of making food choice and developing sound eating practices. You are spreading, you are disseminating, and congratulations to you. And I hope meet all the eminent speakers and hear from them. Everybody have done their wonderful task of disseminating knowledge. And Shubhangani ma'am's message, I also keep up her word, and I know I'm also doing that, ma'am. I'm also trying to ignite the young minds and whomever the lay person that I meet to bring the knowledge of nutrition and following that. Thank you, and wish you all a happy National Nutrition Month. Good luck. God bless you all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes. Some other participants? Yes, Chebalu Manasa.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, you can switch on your camera, please, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a back camera. You have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
switch the camera. Yeah. Unless we take another.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all. I'm Shebolu Manasa. I have been attending the program, Nutritional Week program from 1st of September to 7th as of now. And coming to the day one sessions by Dr. Pushpa ma'am from UNICEF has been explained well about the lactation process and first 1,000 days with food complementary feeding and all, then also the feeding babies process and all. And coming to Dr. Sanu Jacob sir, Director of the Food Safety and Standards, has been explained well about the food and nutrition part. And he also gave us a lot of explanations about the FSSI and also the details about how the food testing processes are going on and how things are going on. And coming to the second day, Dr. Preeti Shukla ma'am regarding the also a registered dietitian regarding the metabolic disorders of management explained well about the disorders. And Shinomi Venugopal ma'am, Department of Food and Nutrition regarding dietary management of hypertension explained well about hypertension and has been drawn many conclusions and how to maintain the hypertension parameters and frequencies and all. And Dr. Subbarao sir from ICMR Nutritional Communication of Convergence has been explained well about the nutrition techniques. And Munira Hussain ma'am from Department of Food and Nutrition on phytochemical nutrition experts. And finally today Shubhangini ma'am, author and principal, and the importance of all indigenous dietaries explain well each and every corner of the foods and also the provided states. And also thankful to the co-hosts and co-hosts, the Dr. Dipali ma'am, Dr. Sweta ma'am, and Dr. Suhani Kashyap ma'am for organizing the Zoom platform well. And very thankful to the Sri Vaishnavi Vidya Peeta Vishwavidyalaya for providing us wonderful opportunity and learning new things well. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Any other? Surbhi Agarwal. Surbhi Agarwal.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good afternoon,
Yes.
everyone. My name is Surbhi Agrawal, and here's my feedback on National Nutrition Week program conducted by SVV Food and Nutrition Department, which is celebrated on very first week of September, that is from 1st to 7th September. During this program, many specialists of different fields shared their views and knowledge regarding nutrition and its importance in our life. I enjoyed the program and learned a lot from it. The everyday content was very well organized and focused on practical situation. There was nice explanation through videos and screen sharing. It was visually attractive, descriptive, and informative. I had an amazing experience. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Yes, Sohan. Ananya, let's.
As this event became really special and informative only because of our speaker, so I request the speaker to share some words.
I think speakers left as the program is very delayed. Ma'am Shubhangi, ma'am, some words for our program, ma'am. Few words. Shubhangi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Shubhangini, ma'am. Ma'am, few words for our program, ma'am.
Okay. It was a good program. I couldn't, unfortunately, because I was traveling, I couldn't attend all the sessions. But whatever sessions I attended, I'm very sure the students have gained a lot of knowledge because all of them were experts in their own field, and really it was you must be really fortunate to get such good speakers. So I'm sure the students have got a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and they should continue getting more and more knowledge. I also myself, it's a very good experience, and I give my best wishes to all the staff and the team who organized this, who made this possible, and to all the students who diligently attended it. I hope it's not only for the certificate that they attended it, they attended it for the knowledge also. So keep getting as much as possible knowledge from wherever possible, and grow. So all the best wishes, and it was a very good program, very well organized. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Ananya.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Dr. Shweta Keshwani, ma'am, Assistant Professor of Food and Nutrition Department, to give a vote of thanks on behalf of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya.
Thank you, Ananya. Please, there is a connectivity issue. Just let me know, Dipali ma'am, if I'm not audible at all.
No, it's audible, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Shweta, just one more thing that I want to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Is I hope next year this program happens offline. I will be very happy to come.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
certainly, that's a wonderful, like it's our privilege to have you offline too, ma'am. Definitely we'll have an offline program in the coming year.
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody can go back and start new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. This is a famous quote given by the Maria Robinson. I would like to thank, we are about to completing National Nutrition Week 2022 lecture series organized by Sri Vaishnav Institute of Food Science. With this completion, I would like to request you all to promise with ourselves to inculcate good, healthy, and nutritious practices which will support our planet a better place for our youth. First of all, I would like to thanks to all our respective dignitaries, Dr. Pushpa Vasti, Dr. Sanu Jacob sir, Dr. Shubha Rao sir, Dr. Mrs. Shubhangini A. Joshi ma'am, Dr. Munira Hussain ma'am, Dr. Preeti Shukla ma'am, Dr. Shonima Venugopal ma'am, who have given us their consent to share their valuable knowledge with all of us. I would like to give my thanks to our respected Vice Chancellor, Sir Dr. Upendra Dhar, Dean Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research, Dr. Santosh Dhar ma'am, for their continuous and valuable support. I would like to give thanks to our own Dr. Uttam Sharma, coordinator, Shri Vaishnav Institute of Home Sciences, for his continuous and uninterrupted support to our institute. I would like to give my thanks to all respective HODs and HOIs who are there in Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya and who have certainly could manage to join this program because of in spite of their busy schedule. I would like to give my thanks to our very much efficient technical team, Mr. Shadab sir and team, for their continuous support and make this celebration a huge success. I would like to give my thanks to my institute food and nutrition student who have worked at various level at front stage and backstage to make this program a very good celebration and a success. Last but not the least, I would like to give thanks to all my attendees, to all my participants in our lecture series. From bottom of my heart, your presence not only made this program as a huge success, but also your participation in question and answer and feedback made entire National Nutrition Week 2022 team on track of the National Nutrition Week 2020 celebration. With this, myself is ending with the vote of thanks with the hope of meeting you all next year, 2023. Now I would like to request, please stand for our national anthem. Thank you.